Yes. How are we doing? Welcome to show 348. Okay, today we're going to be talking about how to build non-negotiable routines. That'd be pretty cool, right? So, let's get into this. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I am your host, James Borman, and if you are coming through, then please do let me know by either hitting the love heart button or commenting and telling me what your non-negotiable routines are, if you have any at all. So if you have some non-negotiable routines in your life, what are they? Share them with everybody here in the comments down below, and then please maybe share this with someone that you need to. So we're just out walking about in Chamonix, and it is a beautiful clear night. It is crystal clear, it's beautiful. Feeling very grateful to be here this morning. So when non-negotiable routines are something really that I have started to only really build this year. I've always had routines, but the idea of having a non-negotiable routine or using that terminology is only something that I've really implemented within my teaching and development this year. But on reflection, they've always been there. And a non-negotiable is a terminology we use when we make something DNA. When something becomes part of your life, part of your blood, part of your DNA, there is no questioning it. There's no challenging it. There's no overthinking it. You just do it. Now let me give you an example of a non-negotiable that the majority of us follow through on. And that's brushing our teeth, right? In the morning, we brush your teeth. In the evening, we brush your teeth before we go to bed. That's usually like a non-negotiable. Wouldn't you agree? And that's to stop our teeth falling out or going black. So when we are trying to build non-negotiable routines, we're looking for the reason why that routine is so important to us. And that's how we end up building it into a non-negotiable routine. My first taste of this was in the military. So when I joined the Royal Marines, I didn't really understand routine and discipline as a young 20-year-old. I didn't really understand the real meaning. Everybody thinks they know what a routine and what discipline is and what showing up is. But as soon as you join the military, you realise there's a whole different level. So everything becomes non-negotiable. The way that you clean your rifle, the way that you fold your clothes, the standards that you set, everything becomes non-negotiable. Now, in everyday life, not every routine can become non-negotiable right away. You're not going through an intense 32-week training camp where you live on camp 7 days a week, 24/7, 365, right? So we have to be realistic about what our non-negotiables are and how we can build them. So the first thing that I would suggest is, when we're thinking about how do we build these non-negotiable routines, it's just, if you're at the very beginning of your journey, or if you don't have any in your journey right now, is build one. Just build one non-negotiable routine that you know you need to build. So let's go through some examples. So one of the biggest ones for me was morning routine. I would say that was my first non-negotiable routine. Okay, so it was my first routine where I was like, it doesn't matter whether it's raining, it doesn't matter if it's cold, it doesn't matter if it's light, it doesn't matter if it's dark, I'm still getting up. It doesn't matter if I didn't sleep right or I didn't sleep well, I'm getting up. It's like, no matter what happens, I'm getting up. And that was the first, without realising at the time, non-negotiable routine that I implemented. And when we talk about it needing to be important, it's because I needed to stretch out and straighten my brain to be able to really understand me better, to lead myself better, to lead my family better, to lead my business better, my clients, my health. And that morning routine gave me an edge. It gave me a real edge. So I made a contract with myself. And I said, Monday to Friday, you're up at 4:15, and we're going to follow this set routine. And then at the weekends, I'm going to lie in. I'm going to sleep till whenever I need to, or if I've got a training session, I'll get up and do that training session, but the pressure won't be on. So that was my first ever non-negotiable routine. So if you are just joining us, guys, what we are discussing or talking about is how to build non-negotiable routines. If you have any non-negotiable routines, please share them in the comments below, because what I think is important for people to understand is kind of what other people are doing, right? It's important to understand that I'm not quite sure what a non-negotiable routine is. How do I set one up? What is one? But as soon as you start seeing other lads putting theirs up and knowing what theirs are, you start to paint a better picture of, I get it, right, yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, I like that idea, and we can build off each other. So that's one of the reasons I want so many people to kind of interact in that way. So if you're at the beginning, just choose one. I've just spoken about that there in terms of the morning routine. When's it time to move on to doing more? When's it time to have another non-negotiable routine? Well, it kind of comes about when you feel that that one particular routine is set in stone, that you've got it squared away, that you've nailed it, that you've put it down on paper, and that you're ready to move on to the next one. One of the biggest things that we're trying to do is we're trying to avoid overwhelm. Fucking great big. We're trying to avoid overwhelm, so we don't want to be overwhelmed with it all. We're still trying to do lots of different stuff. By the way, it doesn't mean that you're only doing the morning routine and you're not trying to work yourself in the evening, you're not trying to work your gym routine, or you're not trying to run your health routine, or you're not trying to run boundaries between work and life. All of those things are going on, but it's working on one particular one that's set in stone. Okay, and when we've got one set in stone, we don't have to think about it. We don't have to continuously try and work on it, because it's done. We then move on to the next. So we go, right, I'm going to work on my phone routine. I'm going to work on when am I going to be on my phone? When am I going to be off my phone? What are my times for social media? A non-negotiable rule is making sure I'm not on my phone when the kids are around, not looking at my phone for the first hour of the day. So we then work on that one, and then we build that until it just becomes natural. It just becomes natural. And you do it when you get in a car, you have a set routine, you use the same routine when you're driving around, doing your teeth. You know, when it just becomes natural. And when you have that, when you start building that, that's when you start to rewire. That's when you're realizing that actually, man, my brain is starting to rewire about the way I do things. And non-negotiable routines can be the way that you handle stress. It can be the way that you handle your business, your career. It can be making sure you make those 4 20-minute gym sessions, or those 4 or 3 6-mile runs that you do a week. It can be like, man, until it's just normal, I'm going to keep going at this, I'm going to keep working at this. And there will be days when it doesn't feel like you're making progress, when you don't feel like you're moving forwards. That's where consistency comes in. That's where resilience comes in. It's not an easy change. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to create a non-negotiable routine. You've got to work at it. You've got to rewire. You've got to change the way that you think. You've got to reflect. You've got to review. There's a whole process that we've got to start following and getting into. Being accountable. These are really key things that we want to think about when building a non-negotiable routine that is going to benefit you. Make sense? Good, I hope so. So what I want you to do, there's 2 things. Number 1 is that if you don't already work with me, then you may be interested in our offer to join us for till June next year. Okay, June next year. The link's up in the bio. It's a long old journey with us. It's 8 months. It's the best offer we've put out. It's a one-time offer. We're not going to do it again ever. And the second thing is, I want you to tell me what your number 1 takeaway from this show is. What's your number 1 takeaway that you're going to go and do and practice this week, today, put into place, okay, to help you progress, move forwards, grow, as an individual and a leader. All right, guys, until Friday, have a great couple of days, and I'll catch up with you soon.